Hello?
Keep going.
Well, Chad, what episode is this, Chad?
This is episode number 100 of SlapperCast, the first episode of 2021. Finally.
So the century mark. This is it.
Nowhere to go but down.
Yeah. Ooh.
I mean, what?
Stayed in for the first New Year's, and I don't even know how long. Mm-hmm. And watched a bunch of TV, which is very unusual. I don't like to sit still. Usually don't like to sit still that long, but I did manage to watch a lot of Steel Panther interviews. The shows, I think you could probably go see them once, but the interviews are, I think, entertaining because they've kind of got that SlapperCast kind of feel to it. There's no script, and they just go and they go and they go. But I will say, as far as interviews go, probably the most generous. And of course, we can talk about Ash and Doug and people that are just so gracious with their time. These guys they run way over time. They go over. It seems like the interviewer runs out of gas before they do, and that's a rarity. And I just hats off to them. Just very, very, very good. And I think the thing that's most startling about Steel Panther is they don't break character, not for a moment. It's impressive.
Yeah. And I think we talked about them before, and they're good players. I mean, they're good players, and they're just they're basically just copping the 80s hair metal scene.
They hit play and they go.
Yeah.
But still very, very, very entertaining. But the other thing that we were talking about, I think before the tape started rolling, was the Exodus. For all our friends that are into the heavier side of music, the Exodus DVD, or excuse me, on YouTube, there's a great documentary called Assorted Atrocities, which my son, I used to be the authority around here on heavy, music and whatnot, but my son has schooled me on Exodus. I thought I was pretty caught up. No, wasn't. But very entertaining, great backstage stuff, great banter, great story, great. And a band that I guess we were saying before the tape started rolling today, a band that never got the accolades, they never got the awards. They never got the attention I think they deserved as far as playing and longevity and sincerity and, true to their craft, stayed the course. They didn't do the disco record. They didn't break into rap for a minute. They didn't, they stayed in the lane. They did what they were supposed to do.
They didn't do the power ballad.
Yeah.
Yeah. They do one thing and they play Exodus music. Mm-hmm. So last night, I think Chad and I were texting about 1:00 in the morning or something like that we were both kind of shock and awe at how many fireworks were going off in our respective neighborhoods.
It was a constant rumble.
Yeah, I think mine had a little bit more gunfire than Chad's since he lives in the West U area. But
what I was hearing was not my neighborhood. It was like, I think it was coming from south of me, like down on south of Bel Air.
These are literally happening over my neighbor's house. Like the fireworks were going off over my neighbor across the street, Carol, over her house. I know that Keith was probably involved. Keith was involved, and a few other people, but they were lighting off some really large ones. And then I heard, I took Ringo out before midnight to make sure that he did his thing before it really got crazy. And the fireworks didn't really bother him too much. He just kind of would look around a little bit and go back to sleep, which is good. A lot of dogs freak out over that kind of stuff. But then behind the cemetery, I could hear pop, 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 and those were not fireworks. So
but they're at least they're killing in the right place, right?
I guess, yeah. And a neighbor of mine on the corner, he found a bullet in his lodge in his deck. So that had come from the sky. So
whoa!
This was I think around Christmas time, because at Christmas Eve, they were lighting off fireworks and shooting off stuff too. So
silent night, violent night.
Yeah.
And both Eric and I have noted that we're usually not at home on New Year's Eve, so we don't know. I know that the firing guns off and shit on New Year's Eve is definitely a Texas thing, but that rumble was going on for hours. Like it started like at 10 p.m., 9:30 or something like that. I don't know how unusual that was. I think it probably
I don't think it's unusual at all. I think it's also, like you just said, so we're all three of us in our own way. We're all, I didn't join you guys till January, so we were doing an oldies show, our regular oldies show at the Continental, and you guys were probably playing New Year's somewhere. So how will we know under all that noise?
Yeah, I can't say that I missed the, I'll always miss seeing our friends and the people that we like on New Year's and whatnot. Because it's for years we did the Fido thing, and it was just a spectacle because you get the regulars that are going to show up, and then you're going to get the once in a lifetimers, the people that come out of the woodwork for the,
they come out for New Year's, St. Patrick's Day, and if they've recovered from St. Patrick's Day, they'll do Cinco de Mayo.
Maybe. That's a stretch, but you can tell who they are at the first first step to the bar. They go, how much? I can get a whole 6-pack. Well, that's the idea. We're not looking for the people that want to get a 6-pack for, $5. But I miss the people that we were lucky enough to see all those years. But man, I certainly don't miss that. Triple the price for parking and road closures and all kinds of just hell trying to get to where you need to get to, and and then just way too much pressure on the staff because now you've got 20 cases of the cheapest fucking bubbly water essentially that they're giving out at midnight. Then they got to construct these stupid glasses, those crappy little plastic.
Those plastic ones with the champagne that goes down to the stem.
Yeah. So old and curmudgeon, blah 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 blah. But I definitely didn't miss that side of it. And very strange being home on that day, much like Paddy's Day. Last year, being doing the live stream on Paddy, just very very strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that's the end of those strange times. Kiss all that as of yesterday, and also let me probably 100th person to wish you all a very very happy 2021. Mm-hmm. So welcome to the new year. I know we're a couple of days late, but if you saw our social media, we wished you there. We were early. We were on New Year's Eve, wishing you all the very very best. And unlike the others, we meant it. Well,
yeah.
I
mean, 2/3 of us meant it. I mean,
yes.
Let them figure out who the 2/3 are.
They know. Glad to be above ground and getting another swing at another year here. But I'm going to be manning the phones. We're actually cold calling a lot because I really believe. I hope this doesn't come back to bite me, but I really believe that in March, April, May, the wheels are going to touch down. It's going to be big.
If they'd ever get that vaccine distributed correctly, we got definitely a good chance to make the spring special for us and everyone else.
Yeah. It's going to be a big year. I'm excited for the new venues that we're going to hit, and it's going to be a big year. We got new brand new tires in the van. We got a lot of gas and in the van and outside. But we're ready to go.
So Bob's question was, what artists still alive would you like to see collaborate?
Yeah, and that was right. We have kind of talked about this a couple of times before, but before you joined the band, so it's been a while. So I don't mind digging into it again. It's kind of an endless subject.
I'd like to see another Lou Reed Metallica collaboration because I hope it would kill both of their careers finally be the last nail in the coffin for both of those people.
That's another one. That's another one of those subjects where my son will go to war. He's not a violent person, but he would get absolutely just through the roof raging just at the mere mention of a Lou Reed in a Metallica thing. So
yeah.
I honestly, I never heard the first thing about it. I just haven't heard a Metallica record. You know, I heard Saint Anger because people were trying to convince themselves that they hadn't bought a piece of crap. But there was just the best description was Trey Cool from Green Day saying that it sounded like somebody beating on a saucepan with a hot dog on a tin. So of course I just botched this description, but it was so well done. I just the drum sound on Saint Anger. It just, just take a rock and throw it against a tin wall, or, like a corrugated iron, aluminium building, just awful. Tang, 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 tang. Ugh. Anyway. Yeah. And then just, again, watching that Exodus documentary, the drums and the guitar sound and the bass tone combined just to knock you down. Just heavy, and well thought out, well crafted songs. I mean, again, this is an acquired taste. You must enjoy, 180 beats per minute plus, and just aggression and tone and just the ability, the musical ability of these guys. These the notes that they play and the speed that they play them and the definition. It's just second to none. So, but to Bob's question, and Happy New Year, Bob. Thank you again for the Christmas card. I'd like to see something like that. I'd like to see something like Exodus and with
Tom Waits.
God, I listen. I listen to Tom Waits. I'd listen to Tom Waits just but somebody like even a Shane MacGowan kind of a melody guy with a just a hard hitting, like even Slayer got a little watery there at times. Exodus just never took the foot off the gas. They never stopped for gas. They never made a wrong turn. It just seems that they just so I'd like to see something. But then also I heard I think I spoke about it last week, the Eddie Vedder CD I bought, and there was a couple of tracks where I could hear Mark Knopfler play the lead on that, and again, a fastball too. When we were talking with Tony, it just I can hear Mark Knopfler and those guys doing a great, just like rhythms and melodies that are so well thought out, and harmonies that are so beautifully pushed together. And then I'll say one more thing just to because I've been on this kick. Like I say, I watched way too much TV over a couple of days, and I might have just been feeling sorry for myself, staying home and, so many shows being canceled and so many, but I've been on a Barry Gibb kick, Bee Gees, and his attention to detail when it comes to melody and hook. I could see, Barry Gibb, Mark Knopfler kind of thing.
No, that would totally work.
Yeah. His, and there were, we laugh at bands like Kiss who just saw dollar signs and went that way. Doesn't matter where it was. It was kind of like a bad video game. If the dollar signs over here, they'll go that way. Gene Simmons just, yes, money. So Barry Gibb never gave me that sense that he was chasing. It was never about money. It was always about music, always about the song. Never, ever about, not even himself. He said a beautiful thing too when he was interviewed about his brothers. He said, I can't point at myself and be. Of course, I'm not saying it nearly as eloquent as Sir Gibb, but just he said, I can never be the Bee Gees. I can never be. You never point at me. It was the three of us. And it's just, such a such a body of work, and he's so humble. He's just not. It just seems like just not a bad bone in his body when it comes to. That spotlight. He's always pushing it away. He's never.
I think people forget too how many hits he wrote for other people. I mean, when you go back and look at the 80s, it's like, oh, that's a Dionne Warwick song. Nope, that's a Barry Gibb song. Oh, that's a so-and-so song. Nope, that's another,
Dolly Parton, Barbara
Streisand, the gal from Supremes, Diana Ross. I mean, that fucking song Heartbreaker that he wrote. You know that song Heartbreaker that Dionne sang? Oh my God, that song is so good. It's ridiculously good.
They do they only do a verse and a chorus of it, but it's on one of their live records. And the one guitar and the three of them standing around a microphone. I nearly drove the car off a fucking cliff. There were no cliffs, and I wasn't in the car, but that's how much.
My buddy Steve, who my former teacher from Miami, Steve Rucker, played on all that stuff back then in the 90s. He was the drummer for that touring band, and he did a few studio things too. So if you watch that concert, you'll see him sort of in the background. But anyway, that whole scene where they get just the three of them and the acoustic guitar in front of the microphone, and oh my God. Yeah, I haven't seen that. I got to see that documentary too. There's a documentary of them on.
It came out the 12th of December last year.
Yeah, last year. Wow, it seems so long ago. Huh. I'll put it on my must-watch list.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, so I'll be.
I heard it's good. Yeah.
Chad and I watched the Shane MacGowan Crock of Gold.
Oh yeah, I got to watch that too.
Not together.
I dig it.
Chad's barred from my house after the little incident.
Yeah. Okay. I don't blame you.
Impregnating the cats. That's the Crock of Gold is a masterpiece. I mean, really? It's going to be good because Shane MacGowan is more brilliant than anybody can. You'll never be able to put down on pen and paper, with pen and paper, his brilliance. You'll never be able to sense from melody and timing and beautiful poetry. That movie was beyond what I knew it was going to be good. Like I said, I could just watch him hit his quips. He's brilliant.
Yeah, one of my favorite clips. We kept cutting back to it where he's having a chat with Jerry Adams from Sinn Féin, and to see that was one of those conversations you could see he had a lot of respect for Jerry, so he was kind of a little bit more energetic. And but he said something during the interview. He said it a couple of times in the interview. It's like he really wants to write more songs, but he just doesn't have any ideas right now. That's what he kept saying. It made me kind of sad. It was like, man, I wish. I have to. I mean, I think one of the reasons he's still alive really is because of Victoria. It really seems like she's looking after him and making sure that he's doing stuff, and instead of just lying around or whatever. Because I just wish he could get out of that wheelchair because I know that's going to help.
Two things. One, he hasn't given up, which is the main thing, and two, believes that he's going to walk again and he's going to be, he's going to make a recovery. So that's really all you can work with. You can't bypass either of those two.
One of the things I noticed comparing, because I think the documentary, I guess, was shot last year, and she's been getting him more active on social media recently, which is another thing she's doing. I think is cool. Because he would never, even if he was healthy, he probably would never bother with it. But he looks a lot better in the recent videos that he shot. He looked like he's actually lost a little weight. He's got more color in his face. But speaking of Mark Knopfler earlier, that's somebody I think that they would make a good songwriting pair.
Yeah. Did anybody hear the Mark Knopfler Chieftains record?
I know I must have heard some of that. I
remember hearing about it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Cal and Local Hero and stuff like that. You can always hear Mark Knopfler's Celtic influence and his love for that music. He's never, his McGoldrick and the fiddle player, and arguably the best fiddle player, whistle player. Of course, he can have the best of everything and anything, but he tours with arguably the best in the world. So. Yeah. So, anytime those guys, anytime you hear that low whistle, anytime you hear the fiddle, anytime you hear the bouzouki, or the uilleann pipes too, just everybody on that stage. I think he said 38 instruments between them.
Yeah, right.
And he goes, and I can play one, shut up. I think a better question would be who could Mark Knopfler not play with?
Yeah.
I just think that Mark's got the ability to set into every situation, and because he listens so well, because he's such a stickler for melody and rhythms, and I always said as a kid that his voice and his guitar sounded exactly the same. Meaning he'll never play a spastic solo in a slow, in a song that doesn't need it. He plays for the moment, for the song, for the Speedway at Nazareth, off the Sailing to Philadelphia record. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to that song, and that's a song that just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds, and then there's just this mass. It's no big train wreck ending or anything, but by the time it comes to the end, you're just not ready for it to end. It just it
just travels and it just keeps going.
Yeah. One of the and again, if you want to dip your toe in that Mark Knopfler ocean, you could find worse places to start than Speedway at Nazareth or Trawlerman, or on and on. Not to do another Mark Knopfler show, but.
But my own personal preference, I would love for him to work with somebody who would kind of get him into a more rockin', energetic space again. Not all the time, but he's, over the past 5 or 6 years, he's gotten more and more mellow. The mellowness has always been there with Dire Straits and all this stuff, but as he's gotten older, it seems like he's just more interested in just writing those beautiful melodies. He's not really, getting as groovy as he was before. But I would love, this might be a little too far afield, but he had that really fun documentary that he did with Brian Johnson of AC/DC, where they're hanging out and talking about Scotland and so forth. That might be kind of cool. I don't have no idea what that would sound like if Brian would sing on some of Mark's stuff, but just something to get some more.
He's got the ability. There's no question that he has the ability. He can do whatever he wants. But in the early days too, I remember reading in early magazines that he would. And this was the beginning of Dire Straits. He would bitch at the sound guys if the people in the audience couldn't talk to each other. He never liked that big, he could never be on there. Couldn't put him on a stage with a big, couple of Marshall stacks and whatnot. He's just one of those guys that played for, and I think that was one of the reasons why Dire Straits was such an incredible sounding band sonically. Just, because there was never a moment where there was going to be. Or never a moment. There was never a setting to where the band was going to be just so overpoweringly loud. Like watching the Exodus thing, it's just everywhere you go, if there's going to be one monitor on the stage and then, 2 speaker on sticks on the side, you're never going to see them. It's going to be you got to have the power to deliver this band. And Mark Knopfler was never that. He was never that, but again, the neck and neck with Chet Atkins, when he opens it up, there's not many people that can sit beside him.
Yeah. I'd forgotten about that. I want to go see that again. Yeah.
I imagine he's probably done one of those Eric Clapton things too. That thing that Eric Clapton does on the island somewhere with all those different guitar players. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm sure that Mark has played something like that before too. I mean, on stage with a bunch of different guitar players. Yeah. Kind of like, okay, now you play. Okay, now you play. So
yeah. And then I know Barry Gibb's written for a bunch of these just juggernauts as far as, he was talking about in one of the documentaries, how he was nervous around Barbra Streisand. And, but again, I'd love to see him collaborate with a, one of these heavier more rockin' things. I'd just love to hear what he would do in a situation where you get one of these really melodic, powerful bands, like all the people I'm thinking of right now would be just take the guitar players, and Nico, from Iron Maiden, and put because all their melodies, everything that they play on the instruments or whatever the vocal line is, it can be, you can sing it. and you know what song it is. You know, you can't do that with a lot of you know. Wait, we know that song. That's My Heart Will Go On. But
if any of this kind of stuff happens again, like if when the world opens back up again, you might see some collaborations, but it's probably going to be something like a Barry Gibb with a Justin Bieber, or a Barry Gibb with a Taylor Swift, or a Barry Gibb with a Lady Gaga, or something like that. You're going to see that kind of stuff rather than the crossover that we really need, which is, you know, a Barry Gibb with, you know, with Eddie Vedder, or a Cheap Trick, or whatever, you know, whomever, you know. It's not even the, you know, it's not the crossover that we need or want for 2021, but
But I'm not even a big Iggy Pop fan at all. I just have tons of respect for him. But I saw this just recently. They had a Zoom interview with just a conversation between Elvis Costello and Iggy Pop.
I saw that. Why did that?
I don't know. I saw it. I think it popped up on Facebook or something, but it was pretty cool. It's another example of how things have changed in the COVID Zoom era, because this was a Rolling Stone thing, and it was the first thing I'd seen from Rolling Stone that was even remotely interesting.
I fucking hate Rolling Stone so much.
Why? It was because the journalist who was there, I forget the guy's name. I'd seen him. I knew his name. I'd seen him before, but he just basically stayed out of the way. He just kind of set the wheels spinning and just sat there smiling, watching the two of them talk. And they went deep. It was like a 50-minute conversation. They were getting way into the music industry, like the old school days of, you know, mastering. And I mean, they were literally talking about mastering records at one point. It's like, this is extremely geeky. I loved it. But the two of them are so engaging, and they just have tons of respect for each other. So it was really fun to see that. But
it was also fun listening to Shane talk about Elvis Costello, because Elvis Costello, the Pogues were opening for Elvis back in the day, and he was shagging Coit O'Riordan, the bass player. Right. And it was a great moment in Crock of Gold where, you know, so yeah, and it was funny too, because we you know, later on hearing Elvis's, you know, I say later on, this was a good few years back, hearing Elvis reminisce about those days when he was married to her. I guess, wasn't he married to her for a short time?
Yeah, they were. I don't know if they ever officially got married, but they were together for a long time.
Well, on the Mighty Like a Rose record, he dedicates the record to her. He calls her Kate, my insufferable wife.
Okay.
So
yeah, I thought I remember reading somewhere that they were like a common law married, but not that it mattered. Well, it doesn't matter.
Whatever it was, I remember him saying that he was foregoing the alcohol and the you know, pills or whatever it was before the show, and opting for a rowing machine so he could stay in better shape, or his younger wife. And I thought to myself, I was like, yeah. Speaking of legends, I'm just gonna say right now we're gonna have our friend Rickie O'Neill from Ireland on the show, and Chad, I'm gonna send you a link to one of the Saw Doctors songs that he had sent me. It's just it's them in Galway doing Clare Island, which is just a brilliant track. And Rickie, for those who don't know, anybody that's come to Ireland with us has probably met him. You know, we saw him on a few of those tours, and we played with his band of many, you know, years ago called Silver Circus. And brilliant players, and the nicest guys you're ever going to meet. And Rickie has been playing with the Saw Doctors since about, what, 90?
I think 2011 or 2012 or something. Probably 2011 or 2012.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking. Yeah, I watched a bunch of, because I was watching a bunch of their videos trying to find one that Rickie was playing on. Also, we've covered a bunch of Saw Doctors over the years.
Oh yeah.
But Rickie is one of those guys that's just, he lives and breathes music, and not only is he just, you know, as far as a person goes, he's just, you're just not going to meet a better person. He's and his dad Frank and I would talk on the phone often. He's and just to go back a little bit further, I met these guys through Eamon, and Eamon owns all the Molly's pubs here in Houston, Texas, and beyond. And Eamon's, of course, Eamon knows everybody, and he introduced us to these guys, and just anyway, we all became friends very, very quickly. And Rickie is not only just a brilliant drummer and like just a wonderful person, as I say, but he's also an actor. You're gonna be seeing his name a lot. He's just tremendously talented and really funny, just great, really, really fast, great sense of humor. And just basically, we're going to need to be very, very caffeinated to keep up with this young fella. So we're looking forward to that. And so we'll post a video, give you an idea of this guy. It's not his. Maybe Chad, maybe you post the drumming in Dublin. Give an idea of this guy. And Eric, you'll love this guy. He's not just a brilliant drummer, but just tremendous fun to talk to. So
yeah,
Yay! It'll be fun.
Think of the context in which we met him, which was playing in that little hotel bar in Clare Morris, just Eamon's hometown, and circus. When they were young kids, they were like 19, 20 years old at the time, I think, and we were expecting them to be playing whatever kids were listening to. They played almost it was completely American classic rock, which was surprising, but it was just, for us, it's cliche. For them, it was kind of interesting and novel because they didn't grow up with it the same way that we did.
Yeah.
And they did stuff like Stevie Wonder's
Superstition?
Yeah. And they start off with that drum beat that kicks off that song. And Rickie he had the groove down exactly, just right in the pocket, precisely the way it was supposed to be played. Just absolutely amazing player. So it was a thrill. So I think it was the next year that we found out he got hired by Saw Doctors. So it didn't take long after that.
Well, so I have many, many favorite New Year's gigs, but they all stop at about 12:30. There's never a New Year's night that's great at 2 a.m. What pisses me off is
what you just said. Exactly.
Yeah. So 12:30, the band plays till half fucking 12, maybe 1:40, or 12:45. That's it. That's it. If you're playing till 2 a.m., all you're doing is you're just beating the shit out of the drunk people's wallets because they don't need any more. And after they put that busy shit down their gullet, now all you got is room for a fight or a stolen sax or whatever it is. There's nothing good that's going to happen after half 12.
You're absolutely right.
So there's a lot of great things, about New Year's Eve. There's a lot of, that can be that this bullshit 10 to 2 on a night that people are paying, and the other thing that's crap too is when you come in and you just do your regular set, but you're charging the club double. Fuck that. No, bring something, do something. This is an event, but don't do the 4 hour, don't do this bullshit of just, play until they can. Nobody can take that. And like I said, I've been watching these documentaries, and again, watch all these bands that are playing, the Beatles played in Germany, they played 7 nights a week and they worked, they did a Hard Day's Night, all shit, you do have to learn your craft and you have to get good. But the other thing is you cannot, and you just can't assault all those drums for 4 hours and expect people to be just dying to come and see your next show. So,
well, at the same time, though, I think the New Year's show, like you mentioned earlier, Patrick, is that it's a different show because you get a different crowd. You might like in Fido, obviously you had your folks that would really want to come and see you play, and then the rest are tourists. I think that a lot of shows, it's definitely a regular show, more fans. A New Year's Eve show, maybe half or less are fans, and others are just like, it's our night to go out. We got a babysitter. Let's go. We can last until maybe 12:30.
Yeah.
We want to ring in the new year, and then we need to go home because we're tired and we're old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to your point, it's like I was always glad that it wasn't like an oldies marathon like Alan likes to do sometimes. It wasn't a 4-hour, 5-hour gig. It was like we start at like 11 and we might go till 1:30, 1:45, and even then, like you said, by 12:30, usually for us, it was 12:45. You could see a difference in the room. You could see that it was just the hardcore oldies fans.
There's nothing going to happen there that
Right. That's not going to be different.
Yeah, a jukebox can satiate anything that needs to happen after 12, after half 12. There's just, that's all there is to it. And I don't care if you're Milli Vanilli or Exodus, you've got, you know what I mean? You've that's it. Just, and the thing is too, if you've been to our show before, and I hope you have, we're not going to stop and, that leaves them wanting more shit. I mean, if they paid money, they're in there to see it and they want a show and they want another song. Yes, absolutely. And 2, 3. Yes, we've done that before. We'll never stop doing that. But the 4-hour thing at the end of it, the bar staff are just at their wits' end. They're absolutely wrung out, just strung out. And, there's just not much you can do after that.
I just thought of a new band name.
Come on.
With the remaining members, who's anybody from Exodus dead yet?
Yeah.
Couple.
Their first main singer.
Yeah.
And,
that's fine. So, and then I know that half of Milli Vanilli is dead. Because one guy killed himself, I think, right?
Oh, he did?
Right, Chad?
Yes, he did. Yes, he
one
did.
guy.
Chad
Ex of Vanilli. Exodus. Give that guy a second chance to sing live, So Exodus and the other half of Milli Vanilli, Ex of Vanilli.
That's a long walk, son. Yeah, we were talking last week too about reward music. And what's reward music? Reward.
Even I don't know what it is.
Well, you're going to find out. So Frank Zappa had a few kids, one of them being Dweezil. And Dweezil is not only an amazing guitar player, but he's also a brilliant business mind. And he's starting up Reward Music. And we are lucky enough to have found this Reward Music, and we're going to give it a shot. Meaning you can go to Reward Music and find all your Blaggard needs there. So we were talking about that, this one-stop shop, this place to go and, live stream or to, hear the music or see the videos or do whatever you need. And it's kind of a genius platform, I think. Mm-hmm. So we've been talking about Reward Music, and we've also been talking about where this new record is going to go. Where, like I said, we've been talking about it for years, but now we're in the mixing stage of this record and at this new record, and looking down the calendar, looking down at the months ahead, and trying to navigate. I guess that the best way to navigate this year is to, kind of ditch the old thinking and try to, really move forward with a big head of steam. And obviously the new record, we got a lot of new ideas and whatnot, and another video coming, and all that stuff. And it's just going to be, I'm hoping that really hoping this thing is going to be a better place to, rather than your, all those social media sites, just be able to go to one place.
Well, the end goal for Reward Music is this is what they want it to be. They want their service to be our website, and that essentially you go to blaggards.com and it's going to be the Reward Music.
Yeah.
So we're still kind of in the beta phase with it. Their service is really brand new. They haven't really even started promoting it yet.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of people on the system, but it's essentially going to be, starting out, it's going to be kind of like Patreon, like to the nth degree. There's going to be a lot more interaction. All the same stuff that we've been putting on Patreon is going to be there, but there's going to be more of it. And it's going to be a little easier to find and navigate. And that's one of the things I don't like about Patreon. It's kind of like Facebook. Like after you post something, it just kind of disappears, just kind of goes down the timeline, and you won't know it's there unless you go looking for it. But it's not, Reward Music doesn't work that way. It's much more, it's organized like a website should be. So you're like, oh, here's music. Oh, here's photos. Here's,
Yeah. And also, what Eric talking about wanting new students and I just think this is going to be a better, think of it like a globe, like it's just, everything is on there, and it's easier to kind of see the whole picture versus that's kind of how I envisioned it when we first started talking about it. And it's, I think it's a great time, obviously being the beginning of the year with essentially everything opening by spring. That's what we're hoping for. We're, fingers crossed, or whatever you need to cross to that happen. We're really aiming at the spring to, spring into action, if you will. But the Reward Music it feels to me like it's going to be a much easier thing to navigate rather than, well, I'm not on that particular social media spot that you tend to do, because we were talking, about back in the day when it was MySpace, that was essentially everything. You didn't need a website. And when we were booking shows, they would say, well, what's your MySpace? And that would be they don't do that anymore. And if you make the whatever that the cardinal sin of contacting somebody that doesn't use that particular social media site for booking, we don't book through. Don't contact us here. It's like, well, how the fuck are you supposed to know? It's going to be hopefully what's going to end up being the.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how people like it. But it's going to give us a lot more freedom, a lot more flexibility in ways to provide exclusive content to you and in a more interactive way. It's just going to be a lot. Like I used to have, live tracks. But again, like in Patreon, like every time you post something, it just disappears. This time, every time I put up a new live recording, it'll be listed right alongside for members. It'll be listed right alongside all of our other albums, individual tracks.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be
excited.
Yeah. It's going to be good. But again, like we're saying, each of us being able to access it and to be able to jump in and add to it versus one person, just keep everybody engaged. And it's a much better forum, much better platform.
Yeah. And it's good for us too. They charge the band just a flat monthly fee, and all of the money that we make off there, all the royalties off of sales and then the membership fees and streaming, whatever's going on, that all 100% of that comes to the band. So give you a nice warm feeling. You're doing something to help us.
Yeah. Eric, did the heat turn off?
It got kind of cold in here a second ago. That's why I put my hoodie back on. It's just kind of chilly. It's a weird day. It's like it's hot, then it's cold in my house. So, yeah, it's chilly out.
Warm over here.
It's always warm over there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as usual, a lot of fun stuff happening. And, the New Year's starting off really nice. I don't know what it's like in your town, but New Year's Day in Houston, Texas is sunny. And it's gorgeous out there. No humidity. It's crisp air. And, going to go for quite a long run today.
Ooh.
So
how do y'all feel about that podcast? Think it's good?
Yeah, I think we were done.
We'll play us out?
Yeah.
Anyway. Delightful. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Thanks for listening. And remember, we're going to have the always stunning Rickie O'Neill next week. And yeah, and we got a lot of really good people in the works. So Happy New Year, and just remember your New Year's resolution. Just mark it down for next year, because this year you're going to be real busy drinking and getting out of shape with us. So,
Yes, sir.
All right.